10:17 p.m. Sunday, March 15th. Joshua Hogan disappeared. The day following his disappearance, investigators were on the scene putting together the puzzle. Her mother was the last person to see him. According to Mrs. Hogan, around 10 after 10, she went to say goodnight to Joshua, who was on his computer watching videos. She told him to go to bed because he had to go to school early the next morning. He got up, went over to the bed, and Mrs. Hogan walked out of the room. A few minutes later, to check that if he was still not on the computer, she saw that he wasn't there. She looked around the house for hours and couldn't find him. She called everyone he knew. Nobody's seen him. She started to worry. Police investigating the case went around asking friends, peers, and teachers what kind of person Joshua was like. Most of Joshua's friends said that he had a good relationship with his parents, had no reason to leave home. He was very outgoing, good student, and never got into trouble. Joshua's history teacher said that he was a very good student and one of the few that were actually interested in the subject, especially World War II. His teacher actually showed investigators a diorama he made of the invasion of Normandy. Investigators looked for signs of someone breaking into the Hogan residence, thinking maybe Joshua was kidnapped. But after an extensive search of the home, they found no signs of forced entry. Police investigators then turned their attention towards Mr. and Mrs. Hogan as possible suspects. Maybe kidnapping or killing Joshua themselves for whatever reason. The Hogans were not happy with this accusation. A couple of months into the investigation, leads and evidence dried up and the trail went cold. The case of the disappearance of Joshua Hogan would have the status of still pending, which basically means nobody will bother with it. This is where I come into the picture. The FBI sent me to investigate this case because I have experience with dozens of cases much like this one. The pattern's the same. No trace of forced entry, no evidence of struggle. It may sound silly, but the truth is, this was an alien abduction. To confirm this, there is usually trace amounts of magnetic currents around the area of abduction. In Joshua's case, it was his bed. Sadly, the only thing I could provide for the Hogans is the truth of what happened to their son. If they believe me or not, that's up to them. But most likely they'll just think I'm nuts. But I've heard it all before. Who knows where he might be? Maybe a UFO, another planet, or maybe another galaxy. All these years of investigating these types of cases, still don't know. We will never know.